Old black men. They're often found at the grill during the family barbecue with a Bluetooth earpiece in, talking to nobody, and making slasher builds every year in NBA 2K. When they're not busy doing that, you can catch them wearing oversized jean shorts that look like capris and listening to artists like Souls of Mischief, Tribe Called Quest, and Camp Lo. To the younger generation, a song like Bonita Applebum might be a big L, but to me, she still got it going on. So I say put it on. Of course you would like them rappers. You are 32. You're old. I am you. And you are me, stupid. No, I'm not. I am a young, proud Saiyan who comes from a long lineage of alien warriors ready to protect whomever they love at a whim's notice.
You're nothing but an overgrown monkey!
Who keeps letting Frieza into my videos? This is becoming problematic with these reoccurring monkey jokes. Anyways, back to the conversation. Recently, British citizen 21 Savage made some statements about rap legend Nas that landed him in some hot water. He called Nas irrelevant during a recent Clubhouse session, and all major hip-hop publications quickly published their sensationalized headlines to cash in on the clicks. The thing is if you read the headlines without doing any research, then it's easy to fall for the trap that the media loves to lie for low IQ people. So instead, let's take a listen to what he actually said.
No,
Bro, no, he's not relevant. He just has a loyal ass fan base. He just has a loyal fan base that and he still make good ass music.
So to further explain if you weren't able to follow, a bunch of industry folks were in a clubhouse talking about various music topics, and 21 said that Nas wasn't relevant. He just has a loyal fan base that rocks with him when he drops new stuff. And to that, I say, I agree. The young bulls are not checking for Nas. I don't see anything wrong with what he was trying to say. The key word here is trying. If you listen to the conversation, there was no malice there. What I will criticize is his ability to articulate himself. See, you have to be aware that the media is trying to twist your words, so make sure to choose them wisely. You should always take the extra time to explain yourself. This is one of those situations where you have to read between the lines. What 21 was trying to say is Nas isn't relevant to today's average hip-hop listener. Most of the streams Nas gets on his newer projects comes from the older core fan base that he's built over the years. After all, hip-hop is a young man's sport. It's in the name with the word hip after all. Another legend from the legendary group Outkast, Andre 3000, he mentions this in an interview when he was asked why he no longer drops new music.
Even just the origin of the word hip-hop. First you have to be hip, and the older you get further away from the hipness. I mean, you can know what's going on, but you know, there's always new slang, there's always new rhythms, new patterns, all that kind of stuff. Once you start trying to imitate that thing, I mean, people see it, man, you know, and it becomes embarrassing at a point.
The difference here is that Andre 3000 articulated himself far better than 21 Savage. And I'm gonna give 21 a little pass here because, you know, he a street dude, you know, he working on it, And it sucks to see too because people were so quick to jump on 21, but the reality is that he's right. Nobody on TikTok is producing dances to King's Disease 1, 2, or 3, and that's okay. It's not meant for them. The only thing that should matter is 21's intent, and I don't think he was trying to disrespect one of our legends, so to you, 21, I would advise you to work on your delivery, my guy. The reality is that all this controversy is good for Nas. Most of you probably didn't even know Nas dropped a new album, so allow me to put you on game. Oh, you thought I wasn't gonna do a video on it? I told you I would in that Roddy Ricch video at the 305 mark.
I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was slim, but I told y'all.
It's called King's Disease 3, and it's the third installment in the King's Disease line. If you haven't heard 1 and 2, I highly recommend you listen to them as well. Hip-hop has an ageism problem, but Nas is the blueprint for how a rap artist can age gracefully. You have to talk about where you are in life at the moment. It's authentic, and it keeps you from looking tacky. A lot of older rap artists out here looking like that 40-year-old weirdo still in the club talking about where the bitch is at. The way Dipset dressed and act when they were young was cool back in the early 2000s, but you saw what happened when they battled the Locks. They were unprepared and they looked juvenile, and I'm thankful for that because if they didn't, we wouldn't have gotten this classic moment.
This is Kiss! I'm outside!
The best way I can describe King's Disease 3 is that it feels like a good home-cooked meal. A lot of today's modern rap is fast food, and I love McDonald's French fries, but we all know that cannot be a staple in your diet. Otherwise, you just end up looking like Android 19 with a Goku heart attack. KD3 is a project with some thought behind it. I love the way that it flows. You could tell Nas made the conscious decision to create something he wanted to create versus chasing a trend. The best part is that a lot of the production is still done by Hit Boy. If you haven't heard anything from the King's Disease series, you're missing out. One of my biggest critiques of Nas has always been his beat selection. Lyrics have always been on point, but the inconsistent production always held him back in my opinion. This album is a nice mix between bangers and thought-provoking lyrics. He doesn't abuse 808s like a lot of today's modern rap either. KD3 uses a wide array of sounds from horns to pianos and more. They do a great job of setting the tone and helping bring a lot of the pictures he's painting with his words. There's a crazy beat switch on track 4 called Michael Quincy that Nas glides on effortlessly. I was in the gym and I got a Zenkai boost when I first heard this, man. Dude really showed off his versatility, which kept me wanting to hear more of the album. The album is a balance between storytelling and dropping gems for the youth. He talks a lot about self-love and loving thy neighbor, but he never gets too preachy. It's more so coming from the perspective of an OG who's seen a lot and he wants us all to win. There's a record on here that plays with your emotions too. I love track 6. It's called Hood to Hood. This man had me on the edge of my seat waiting for my city to be called like I was a kid tuned into the news to see if school was closed for a snow day. If you like samples, there's some of that here too. Track 10 is called I'm on Fire, and there's a dope sample from a 1975 song called I'm Not a Gambler. There's honestly a little bit of everything here for hip-hop fans of all ages. You get some knowledge, some fire production, and a little bit of storytelling. This whole series just makes me happy because it's showing that you can teach an old dog new tricks sometimes. Nas is taking what was already working and he's tweaking that formula with the constructive criticism that he's received over his career. There's 17 tracks here, and honestly, I was able to listen to this from front to back. This is one of my favorite albums of 2022, and I highly recommend that you give it a listen. It passed the whip and the earphone test. But if you're tight on time, I'd recommend starting off with Legit, Michael and Quincy, 30, Hood to Hood, Reminisce, I'm on Fire, Once a Man, Twice a Child, and Till My Last Breath. But y'all want to know my favorite thing about the release of this album? It actually has nothing to even do with the album. After all that fake outrage the media tried to push between Nas and 21 Savage, the two came together and they made a song. The song is called One Mic, One Gun, and it's available on all streaming platforms. And what's cool about this song is that it sounds like it could have been a bonus track for KD3. And that's commendable for doing this on such short notice. On the song, 21 said, I ain't trying to go against no legend. I'm trying to be next in line. And to that, I say, kudos to these two brothers for coming together to do something positive. That is the foundation of hip hop, creating art with what you have to keep yourself out of trouble. I love seeing black brothers come together to build rather than tear one another down. Because the reality is that if these two would have started beefing, I would have been forced to use a Nas second childhood joke against him and 21 because both of them are 30 plus years old and too old to be beefing over a misunderstanding. But hey, I'm just saying.